we will call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. I know more people will be arriving, but Edgar, today is Edgar's 39th birthday.
For the 15th time.
I
And
love
so-
you, Wendy.
That wasn't 93.
So, we would like to sing happy birthday to Edgar.
None of us can sing.
Those of you who want to, you can mute yourselves, mouth the words, whatever, but many happy returns, Edgar, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Edgar. Happy birthday to you and many more.
Thank you all. Thank you all, my friends in the radio club. I'm delighted to be here. I know it's going to be a great meeting. And
Not after that
thank
singing.
you for friendship through the many years. And we've all had many challenges in our life, but I hope that this will be a good year. And I'm keeping all of you in my thoughts and prayers. So thank you for a very nice celebration.
You're more than welcome. As I understand it, Edgar is actually, even as we speak, at another party. But I coordinated with him for when he could.
That sounds
walk
right.
in.
But I sure didn't want to miss this.
Yeah. Or maybe now that you've heard it, you did. Congratulations, Edgar, and thanks
There he
for giving
is.
us the opportunity
There he
to
is.
sing to you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. And have
Oh.
a wonderful meeting.
Thank you. And don't eat too much cake, Edgar. You have to keep your
I'll try
girlish
not to.
figure. Good stuff. All right. So now, if Frank is ready, we will get started with the performance part of the meeting with our first 15, which, as I understand it, Jack
Oh, it
French
just
is
allows you to see more people.
Yeah, okay.
So hit it if you want it.
So yeah, you all probably want to mute, otherwise I'll mute you for yourselves. And as I was saying, Jack French
No, we're still there.
is, I can help you, Virginia. Let me see, mute, okay. Jack French has officially passed the baton for first 15 to Frank, who has been doing an outstanding job sharing those responsibilities. I'm sure Frank would welcome any help if someone occasionally would like to volunteer to put together a first 15. I think that would be great. But for now, Frank, would you get us started with our first 15? Oh, and I will make you a co-host so you can actually, let's see, make co-host, so you can make the magic you need to make with all the controls available to you.
First thing, Wendy, make sure that I'm not on the screen because I do have a PowerPoint. I saw the video from last month, and there I am drinking my Coke, and it wasn't on the screen. So
you have to share your screen.
I'm going to do it.
And if you do it, then we shouldn't see you drinking, drinking whatever it is you're pretending to drink over there. Your Coca-Cola.
How sweet it is.
Indeed.
Okay. Share screen. All right, can I see that?
There we go.
Excellent.
And if you try cutting your video feed if you don't want people to see you in the corner. Try turning off your video. I'll let you know if that kills your screen.
How's that?
Perfect.
Very
We
good.
still have your screen, but we won't see you getting drinking your Coke.
All right. Well, tonight's presentation, I think I called it federal agents, and I'm going to stand corrected because it is federal agent. And whenever I hear the expression, he's a federal agent, I immediately think the FBI, the G-men of old time radio and the movies. But for the series Federal Agent, the term had a far broader meaning. The series featured stories not only about the FBI, but stories of the French, British, and Canadian federal agents. In old-time radio, the most well-known of the foreign police agencies is, to me, Scotland Yard. Think the Black Museum and Sherlock Holmes, for example.
Hello?
This is a picture of the French Sûreté. When I researched it, I was surprised to learn that it is older than Scotland Yard. It was founded in 1827. And here's a drawing of Scotland Yard, which founded 2 years later in 1829. Next up is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, which was created in 1873 to maintain law and order in the country's western territories. Jack will recognize this building. It's the J. Edgar Hoover building. The FBI was founded on July 26th of 1908, when Attorney General Charles Bonaparte appointed a then unnamed force of special agents to be an investigative agency within the Department of Justice. Now, I have to give credit where credit is due. I ran into a wall and I called upon my friend Carl Shadow, whose knowledge of the little known and obscure I'm grateful for and in awe of. And he provided a lot of this information about the production of the show. Federal Agent was a syndicated feature originally created in 1937 by the 20th Century Radio Productions in Hollywood. Archie Josephson founded the firm and was the producer of the series. The scripts were by Tracy Woods, a pseudonym for Russ Johnston, and Willis Parker. There were 39 15-minute episodes recorded at the Aerogram Corporation Studios in Hollywood. G.C. Bird was the manager of Aerogram, and under the name G.C. Bird and Associates, distributed the series in 1941. It was aired throughout the United States and in Australia. In 1947, the series was again distributed by Finley Transcriptions. The shows do not give on-air credit for the actors, which was customary for transcribed and syndicated programs of the 1930s. Over the years, the show's sponsors included an outdoor clothier, an auto polish manufacturer, kids shoe manufacturer, and the Kentucky Peace Officers Association. Each week, the 15-minute show would feature one of the four agencies with a different crime. Stolen artwork, stolen furs, prison escapes, and espionage were some of the topics covered by the series. The show I'm going to play now is called A Killing in London. Not what I needed. The audio is underneath the little screen on my right. I gotta figure out how to kill it. This is not how, oh, there we go. All right.
backbone of today's modern crusade against crime. Scotland Yard, French Sûreté, American Bureau of Investigation, Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Federal agents from all countries join hands to blast criminal activity from the face of the earth. In foggy London, and society is slumming in Limehouse, when suddenly one of its foremost members, young Tommy Fawcett, is shot down in cold blood. Before any policemen come to the scene, the assassin disappears, but Scotland Yard draws its net over dismal London. And all through the night, the police scrupulously comb every suspicious hideout for the criminal.
You broke there under the lamppost. What's your business?
Just passing away the time.
There's no lights in around here. Now get moving.
Where are you heading for, young fellow?
East End, sir.
Well, let's see your license. Oh, all right. Proceed.
Yes?
Seen any rough-looking characters around here, lady?
How can a person tell what another person looks like in all this fog?
Early the next morning.
Who is it, please? Scotland Yard. Won't you come in? Thank you. You'll find Judge Fawcett in the study. Please, Inspector. He's mighty broken up. I understand. Come right this way, sir. Don't you suspect any one particular person, Judge Fawcett?
Oh, how can I, Inspector? During this last month alone, I've sent 15 men to Dartmoor Prison. And everyone vowed to avenge himself on my family.
That place where it happened.
It might have been any place in Limehouse. Tommy and his gay friends frequented many clubs of that sort. Undoubtedly, he was followed there.
I see. Then our only hope is to weed out all of Limehouse.
Oh, but isn't that an endless task?
It might be, except for this one thread of evidence.
Tommy followed. You mean?
No, Judge. I'm not sure that this is the murderer's revolver. We found it near the bar after the shooting, however. It might have been dropped there by any one of many people. And another thing, this is a very weak link.
Why, Inspector?
Because there were no bullets in the carriage when we picked it up. And only one shot had been fired.
Yes, only one shot.
Sit down, Harmon.
Thank you, Inspector.
Now, as your first assignment from Scotland Yard, you're to find the murderer of Tommy Fawcett.
Poor kid. Shot down in cold blood.
That's what makes this criminal so dangerous. He'd do it again.
I understand.
Now, one thing is sure. He hasn't been able to leave England. In fact, he's still in London.
And the chances are that he's hiding out someplace in Limehouse.
That's the way we feel about it. However, we're not sending you out cold.
Oh, some kind of clue?
Yes. Here's a copy of the fingerprint taken from a revolver found at the scene of the crime. You see, in the first place, we're not sure it's the murderer's weapon.
I see.
So you have two jobs. One, to match this fingerprint.
And the other?
To draw out a confession if he is guilty.
All right, Inspector. I'm on my way.
Good luck, Harmon. But remember, it may take you a day, a week, or a month.
Not 1 month, but 6 months later, Harmon is working in Limehouse as a piano player in Mully's where Tommy Fawcett had been murdered.
Beautiful music, Blondie. Do you know the old roast beef of England?
That reminds me, gorgeous. I have to wait on that table in the corner. I'll be back in a minute. What'll it be, mister?
Oh, my, get a whiskey and soda and don't stop to play no tune on the way.
Oh, so you don't like my music, eh?
I like music, but I like whiskey better.
Right, here, boss. Coming right up. So, you like my music now, darling?
Oh, sure, Blondie. After 3 whiskeys, anybody in Limehouse would like your music.
Well, as long as the whiskey holds out, I'm sure of my job.
For a guy who works for a living, you're pretty regular. How about Annie Laurie?
Right, here. But it'll cost you another drink.
Aye, wise up. Bring over a couple of whiskeys.
Well, Inspector, took more than half a year, but I've matched the fingerprints.
And who is it, Harmon?
His name is Dud Doran, a pickpocket.
Know anything about him?
Yes, his brother was sent up to Dartmoor 8 months ago for life.
By Judge Fawcett.
By Judge Fawcett.
Versatile Harmon now has his first job completed. By taking the fingerprints on each glass, as it was used in the cafe by his customers, he finally came to Doran. After reporting to his inspector, Harmon returns to Limehouse and to Doran.
Come on, Blondie. How's about sitting down here with me?
Sorry, Doran, you know what the boss says. No mixing with the customer.
All right, old fellow. And I'll go up to Piana with you, huh? Come on, let's go. Want another whiskey, Blondie?
Make this one on me. Hey, Crosby, a couple of straight.
Don't you ever get tired flying that thing?
Sure, I gets tired, but don't like it.
You're a funny guy. What do you like about it?
Oh, makes me remember things.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
Here your drinks. Two shillings.
Take it out in my pie, Crosby.
Well, here's to you, Blondie. And to your memories.
Drink her down, then. And here's to memorize.
Right. What's that there song you're playing?
Oh, it's just an old one. Name of it's A Long Way Back Home. You know, it reminds me of things.
Yeah? What kind of thing?
Oh, just things. Old memories. You know.
You I don't know. What's it remind you of?
Oh, all right. Don't get excited. I'll tell you. It reminds me of me old man. It's a long way...
Back home?
No, to Dartmoor.
Dartmoor? What's that got to do with you?
Plenty.
Oh, wait a minute. Aye, wiser. Couple more whiskey. Double whiskey. Now, look here. What's this here about Dartmoor?
Well, it's... my old man rooms there.
What's he up for?
Smuggling.
It's funny. So's my brother.
Well, sometimes I wish I was there, I do. At least he gets fed regular.
Oh, don't you believe it? It's rotten. When's your old man getting out?
He ain't. He's a lifer, he is.
Here you are. 2 doubles, like you said. And that makes 4 a shilling. And listen, it's not out of your pay, Blandy. And the reason is you ain't got no more pay coming. Shut up, you. Here's your money.
Oh, thanks, fella. Well, come on, now. Let's drink to the relatives.
Right, yo. To your old man and my kid brother. You know, me old man would like a bit of this, he would. Ah, sure, it's a rotten place. They get style bread, that's all. I wish I could get the old man out. There ain't a chance. Too many guards. Well, I'll make it up to him. Yeah, that's what I did. I got even. Yeah. But I'll get old Judge Fossey. I beat you on that one. You're crazy. The judge is still sending him up there. Yeah, but I fixed his son up. I mowed him down right here in front of this here cafe. Oh, now, Arthur, now. You're kidding. No, I ain't kidding. That's what made me think of it. Some guy was playing it right on the piano, right here. Playing? Playing what? He's playing his long wire backhoe.
Michael Doran, you have heard the verdict of the jury, and so for the murder of Thomas Fawcett, I hereby sentence you to hang by the neck until you are dead. Dead. Dead.
Listen for our next presentation of thrilling stories related to this modern crusade as each nation calls upon its chief bulwark against crime. Federal agent.
Okay, so that's Federal Agent. It was short-lived, but there were 39 episodes originally. There are about 7 in circulation. There was one critic who liked the show, but felt that if it had been a half-hour program rather than 15 minutes, it probably would have survived.
Thank you, Frank. That was really wonderful. I enjoyed that immensely.
Thank you.
Now we come up to the part where Sally Stevens, did someone have something to say? Were there
Yes, I did.
questions? Yes, John?
A comment, yes. I noticed that on that transcription disc, you noticed that the word said start inside. And I just wonder how many of our members know what that start inside meant and why it was there. Does anybody have an idea that went on? No, I know
John
it got-
Abbott does. Do you want to unmute John and weigh in?
Yeah, if I click on the right thing, I can unmute myself. Normally, when we think about playing a record, we think about putting the stylus on the outside of the disc and letting it play towards the center where it goes pa-chunk, pa-chunk, pa-chunk when it ends. For a lot of the old transcription discs, you started it at the inside of the disc and let it play out towards this edge of the disc.
But do you know why that was?
No, I stole that little piece of information from Jack and he didn't tell me the whole story.
Okay. The reason being is that when a recording is made, the little acetate that comes off is like a thread, and it goes towards the center of the disc. Now, modern disc recorders had a vacuum pump that would vacuum up that little chip so it wouldn't get tangled up in the needle. But when the chip went towards the center, if they started at the outside of the disc, the needle would be cutting into that pile of chip that's cut out from the acetate, and it would get tangled up. And if they heated the stylus, it could melt and burn and destroy the disc. But if they started from the outside, all of the chip would fall towards the center of the disc, and it wouldn't get tangled up in the stylus. And that's why they did it, started from the outside. But modern disc recorders had a vacuum pump that vacuumed up that little chip.
Very
That's the
interesting.
reason.
Thank you, John.
I just thought the interesting tidbit about transcriptions.
Absolutely. Really interesting.
I'm going to have to open up another page in my trivia book.
There you go. You just have to keep adding to it.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm wondering if Frank or anybody has ever come, since we're talking about federal agents, across a program called Tales of the Foreign Service. Has anybody ever heard of that program?
I can't say that I have, but I'll look into it.
Well, I have 4 or 5 of them right here. And it was based on our diplomats going overseas, mainly in the 40s, some of them having to do with World War and so forth. But they were supposed to be actual events taken from the service that reports coming in and so forth. Just a thrown out question.
It sounds interesting. That sounds like another first 15, Charles. Thank you for that. So now, if there's if everybody agrees, our own computerized Sally Stevens has come prepared with quizzes, with a hodgepodge quiz, which was assembled by our own Frank Morgan. And Sally, you have hosting rights, so
Excellent.
take it away.
You all right? All right, children, we've all attended class now. You're all a little late today. I won't mark you tardy this time, but next time I expect you all to be on time in class, because I don't have time to be making up our lessons when we're already behind in the curriculum. You got snow days. You're welcome. So you should be taking this stalling time to get your pens and pencils and your paper together. Oh, good. I see Wendy has hers. Very nice. Oh, good. John has his. Excellent. Thank you, Dennis. Very good. I see these very prepared students. What's going on with the rest of you? What, you don't have your supplies? It's already halfway through the school year. Where are your supplies? Well.
Dog ate my supplies.
all
Well,
used
that
up.
excuse didn't work then, and it's not going to work now. You need to go down to the principal's office. I think you might have a change in attitude. We'll just have to see. All right, I am going to launch the poll here shortly of our hodgepodge and other things. And as always, I have not read this. Therefore, we'll see how nice Frank is going to be to me. If, Frank, I find the evil name in this quiz, could be a bad way to start 2022. Could be a bad way. Can you see the poll? Thumbs up, please. Thumbs up. Excellent. Okay, the poll is launched. You may move faster than I will read. I will read the questions and the answers as Hal. And you may select your answers in the poll or jot them down, and we will go over the answers following our main program. Number 1. Al Hodge was the first to play the Green Hornet. Jack McCarthy was the last. In between, there were 3 others who played the role. Which of the following did not? A. Robert Hall. B. Donovan Faust. C. J. Michael. D. Brace Beamer. Who did not play the role of the Green Hornet? Number 2. Buster Crabbe, possibly Crabby, not Crabby. He was a very happy Buster, not grumpy at all. Buster Crabbe, known for his Olympic swimming gold, his movie encounters with Ming the Merciless, and his Tarzan adventures, also did a little radio. But his wife of 50 years didn't call him Buster. I don't understand why not. What did she call him? A. Larry. B. Curly. C. Mo. D. Evan. What did Buster Crabbe's wife call him? Number 3. Buster Crabbe played Flash Gordon in the movies. But do you recall who it was that played Flash on the radio? A. Ray Collins. B. Gail Gordon. C. Clayton Bud Collier. D. Bill Johnstone. Who played Flash Gordon on the radio? Number 4. Buster Crabbe was one of many who played Tarzan in the movies. Several played him on radio in the 1930s. But this veteran actor got the lead in the 1950s series, then went on to a career as a television director. Who was it? A. Vic Perrin. B. Harry Bartell. C. Larry Dobkin. D. Lamont Johnson. Buster Crabbe played Tarzan in the movies. Several played him on radio, but this veteran actor got the lead in the 1950s series and went on as a television director. Who was it? I was thinking of my answer and not recapping the question. Number 5. We will always remember the wonderful Betty White for her many television roles. But we are an old-time radio club. Do you recall the name of the series on which Betty made her radio debut? A. Family Theater. B. Empire Builders. C. Most Gratefully Yours. D. This is your FBI. On which series did Betty White make her radio debut? Number 6. Police Captain Sam Sabaya usually makes the arrest at the end of each episode of which of the following shows? A. The Green Llama. B. Rocky Jordan. C. The Adventures of Frank Race. D. The Amazing Mr. Malone. Number 7. Though usually just called Daddy, his first name was Lancelot. His daughter was Snooks. What was Daddy's surname? A. Diggins. B. Higgins. C. Riggins. D. Wiggins. What was Daddy's surname? Get it? Surname? Surname? Rough craft. Number 8. Baby Snooks had a little brother. What was his name? A. Junior Lancelot. B. Richelieu. C. Robespierre. D. D'Artagnan. What was the name of Baby Snook's little brother? Number 9. The S.C. Johnson Company was famously known for its longtime sponsorship of Fibber McGee and Molly. At the end of each show, 2 locations were often mentioned for the company. One was Racine, Wisconsin. What was the other city? A. Vancouver, British Columbia. B. Brantford, Ontario. C. Quebec. D. Regina, Saskatchewan. What was the other city mentioned by S.C. Johnson Company at the end of Fibber McGee and Molly? Number 10. On Space Patrol, Commander Buzz Corey was in charge. His assistant was a cadet. What was the cadet's name? A. Hava. B. Happy. C. New. D. Year. I just got it right now. What was the cadet's name on Space Patrol?
Oh.
This concludes the quiz.
Did I miss something before this? I just joined.
By the way, this is Walden. I need to correct one item on the quiz.
Yeah, please do, Walden.
Yeah, I worked on the Betty White birthday special for NBC 1990 when she turned 90, and I worked the two separate special. And answer 5, the correct answer is not on your list there.
Oh.
Okay, so I just want to give everybody the heads up. The correct answer is not on that list. I can wait later to give you, but I can tell you what it is because I had to work with her on that special.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
It's the Great Gildersleeve Show. It was the Great Gildersleeve Show that she did in 1947. I had to find her original appearance, which was a commercial. Her first acting show was the Christmas Eve, 1947, when they actually used her real name as White. So I know most people have been looking. There was part of the computer. There were 2 Betty Whites, and that's part of the reason why that particular answer just needed to be updated. So I just want to let everybody.
I stand corrected, and I thank you.
No problem.
Well, that was great, especially the answers to the last question. This will be fun to see what the correct answers were. And thank you for the correction, Malden. It's always wonderful to have these more heads can solve problems accurately. So that's terrific. And Sandy, welcome. We started at 7:30. So what you've missed will be posted on YouTube. So if you want to, sometime maybe on Monday, go back and check it out. That'll be great.
I'm sorry.
It's fine, Sandy.
I fell asleep.
Not a problem. So now we're ready to move to the main part of the program. And the title of it is Even Orson Welles Had a Problem. And Frank Morgan is the presenter for that. So once again, take it away, Frank. And everyone else, please mute. If you don't know how, I am happy to mute you. And so we go.
Right. All right, once again, tell me, can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
All right, excellent. Well, even Orson Welles had a problem. That's according to the May 14th, 1944 issue of Radio Life magazine, indicated that Orson Welles had a problem.
Frank, if you want to cut your video feed too, that way you won't end up in the recording.
I don't see myself on the screen.
I see you.
Oh, all right. How are we going to do that?
You do the little camera and click it or hit it. I mean, it's fine. I have no problem seeing you, but if you want to do something secret.
I'd rather not. Let me go back to this.
Yeah, Wendy, I did not see Frank when he brought his PowerPoint up.
I could see him.
Well, let's
yeah. I couldn't get over the hills down here in North Carolina. So.
I don't know. Just saying. Yeah. No, you're perfect. You have cut your camera feed.
Okay, great. Now, due to his maniacal schedule, Orson Welles often missed rehearsals for shows and used to stand in at the rehearsals. Welles was known for his legendary ability to walk into the studio just before airtime, glance at the script, then read through it flawlessly. So what was Orson Welles' problem? Well, it was with one of the actors he hired in 1939 to be part of the regular cast of his program, The Campbell Playhouse. He had difficulty with the actor's name. Wendy, would you please unmute Sally for a minute? I have a question for her. You'll have to tell me when she's ready.
I am unmuted.
Okay, Sally, who do you think was the actor whose name was a problem for Orson Welles?
I bet it was the one that I have a problem with, Bea Benedaret. Bea Benedaret.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And tonight, actually the program, the subtitle is Bea Benedaret, Why You Might Not Have Known Her and Why You Should. Sally, after tonight, I'm putting Bea to rest, but before I do, we're going to look back.
Oh no!
Yeah, we get to the second Friday in May. Spring had started to bring us its warmth. Only a few days of school year remained, and then in a matter of seconds, disaster.
Number 3. In the Lucille Ball comedy, My Favorite Husband, her friend and neighbor, Mrs. Atterbury, was played by Bea Benedaret.
Okay, so we've had some fun with her name, so let's talk about it. Benedaret was the surname of her father, a Turkish immigrant who earned his living as a tobacconist. Her mother was Irish American, hence the given name of Beatrice. She was born in New York City in 1906. When she was 9, her father relocated the family to San Francisco, where he opened a smoke shop and operated it for 65 years. He attended grade school at a Dominican convent, where she studied voice and piano and had her first acting experience in a school play at age 11. Her first experience on radio came a year later when she was spotted by a radio station manager in a children's play and invited to be part of a one-time radio program. After graduating from an all-girls private high school, she went to the Travers School of Acting and became part of Travers Stock Company, making her first professional stage appearance at age 16. Bea's first job in radio was as an announcer for KFRC Radio in San Francisco. Her debut behind the mic was at age 20, and this was at a time when female announcers were uncommon. He holds the distinction of being the first female to announce a transcontinental broadcast. KFRC became part of the Don Lee radio network, and Bea's workload grew. In addition to announcing, her duties were enlarged to include acting, singing, writing, and producing. And though she preferred dramatic roles, it was comedy roles that became Bea's way of life at KFRC. And while she appeared on numerous programs, it was on the Blue Monday Jamboree variety show she made her mark. That show introduced her to many people who would make an impact in radio and beyond. On Jamboree, she worked closely with Meredith Wilson, later the musical director for Burns and Allen and the writer of The Music Man. Also part of the show was Elvia Allman, who had a long career as a radio actress. And you may remember her as Lucy and Ethel's supervisor in the classic Candy on the Conveyor Belt episode of I Love Lucy. We also met Jess Oppenheimer on Jamboree. Oppenheimer became the head writer and producer of the Lucille Ball-led radio program, My Favorite Husband, on which Bea became a cast member. First item I found about Bea was from the April 14th, 1935 edition of Broadcast Weekly. It principally discussed her work on Jamboree. In order to expand the variety of roles she could play, early in her career, Bea developed a number of dialects, including one in Italian. Later on, I'll be playing a clip from one where she uses that accent. Bea moved from San Francisco to Hollywood, where her first big break was in 1937, an appearance on the Jack Benny program as telephone operator Gertrude Gearship. She played that role on occasion on the Benny program until 1955. It was during the 1947 and 48 seasons she appeared as Gertrude on a regular basis, teaming with Sandra Berner as Mabel Flapsaddle. And you can see Sarah's on the left and Bea is on the right in this picture of the Benny cast. This next slide is actually a publicity photo of Bea and Sandra at a switchboard. And I'm going to play a little bit of the two of them.
Oh, Maple, what is the kite show? Miss Benny's line is flashing. Yeah, the temptation wants now. I'll plug in and see. Hello? Yes, Mr. Benny, I'll do it. He wants me to get the Hillcrest Country Club. You know, he lost a golf ball there last Sunday. And what a thing he made over it. I know, he came in today wearing a black band on his sleeve. Yeah, and speaking of golf, you should have seen what happened to me when I used to go out with Mr. Benny. I'm listening. One night he took me and my mother out to a driving range. I didn't know he was such a rocker, so I let him drive a ball off my nose. You did? Yeah, and was I sorry? Oh my goodness, did he hit your nose? No, but he broke my mother's leg. I wonder why I missed her at the Palladium. Hello? I'm trying to get them, Mr. Benny. Well, you don't have to get so excited. What? That's no way to talk to a lady. What did he say? What did he say? What did he say? Quiet, he's still insulting me. Are you through, Mr. Benny? Are you through? Are you through? Gee, he must have one of his riders with him. I'm sorry, Mr. Benny, but the line is busy.
Operator, good through. Swooksy.
He was great at comedy, but here she is in a dramatic role on Lights Out with Joseph Kearns. A little setup. Kearns' character has taken his wife to the sub-basement of the department store where he works with the intention of killing her. But of course, on Lights Out, the unforeseen occurs.
Sub-basement. A man and his wife are far beneath the city streets in the tunnel leading to the sub-basement of a large department store.
All right, we'll be there in a minute.
But I'm sure
I tell you, it's an emergency. Oh, it's kept open. Stop asking me that. I don't know.
And that what?
Stop talking, will you? I don't know anything.
Honey, why did you stop talking? Why stop? You said the emergency exit.
That's it.
What?
Behind those timbers. Blocked off. You understand? It's blocked off.
What do we do? We can't just stand here. Arnold, that man was killed. There's someone down here. I'm afraid. Oh, Arnold, get me out of here.
Oh, wait a minute. I gotta think. Now, whoever killed Tom, not down here necessarily.
You don't think so, Arnold?
Well, why should he be? Nothing to steal down here. Tom was always borrowing money from people. Somebody he didn't pay back. Yeah, that's it.
But the doors were...
Well, he got out and closed the doors. What of it? We can get out. Come on. I told you these tunnels lead to the buildings all over the business section. Follow the tunnel to the next sub-basement, to the next building. We'll get out, that's all.
Honey, don't get too far ahead of me this time.
Just walk fast, will you?
Oh, honey. I look forward so very much to tonight. It has been so long since you've even thought about me. I knew that. And tonight, when you called me up and told me to meet you here, and then when you started to play those crazy, scary jokes before, even then
Irma, you too?
Bea appeared in more than 40 episodes of the Lux Radio Theater. In this clip, she's with Bob Hope and Bill Goodwin. Bill Goodwin, you may recall, is an announcer and an actor on Burns and Allen show, and he's arranged to meet dates for he and Bob's character at a restaurant.
Good evening, sir. You looking for someone? Yeah, the Chuck's park. Yes, sir. They're expecting you right this way.
Hey, David, my boy. Hey, Chuck. Well, here he is, girls in the flesh. Hiya, Dave. Hi, Chuck. Come on, meet Dave. Dave, this is the girl.
Hello, big boy.
hiya, Tess, what's been keeping you? Sit down and pop the button.
Chuck, is this, are these... Why, sure, this is the young lady who liked your voice, Dave.
Young lady. You can get 6 to 1 in the winter book. She doesn't finish out the winter.
Oh, Dave, Gertie shows. Gertie's for you, Dave.
Oh, thanks.
Come on, Bulldog and Spinos. Sit down.
Can't we go to some quieter place where it's darker?
Hold it, Cookie. We're eating first. Have you ever been here?
Often. That's why I want to go to a dark place.
I don't get it.
Well, food doesn't agree with my stomach, so I get even on it. I don't let it see what I'm eating.
Upset stomach, huh? I bet you I could have done it.
Are you kidding?
Waiter, bring the bottle here and leave it, will you?
Yes, sir.
No kid, huh, Dave?
Let him talk for himself. What? Let him say something.
I will. I'm trying to find a way to clean it up.
Take a gander at this menu.
Yeah, spitting all in French.
Just putting on the dog for the fancy prices. Look, oops, that's eggs.
What's that?
Oops, it's eggs. No kidding, I was here once before.
Say, it's awfully hot in here, Chuck. I know a place that's cool.
Now, listen, don't rush it. We're stuck for the cover charge anyway. Now, take it easy, Dave.
Okay. The article that I'm going to refer to appeared in the Radio Life Weekly of May 14th, 1944. In that article by Shirley Gordon, she listed a schedule of Bea Benedaret's Sunday. And for those of you who are on the phones, can't see this, 9:30 to 11 a.m., Gildersleeve rehearsal, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., Silver Theater rehearsal, 1:30 to 2 p.m., Gildersleeve script reading, 2 to 2:55 p.m., Lux Radio Theater rehearsal, 3 o'clock to 3:27 p.m., Silver Theater broadcast, 3:30 to 4 p.m., Gildersleeve broadcast for Eastern listeners, 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock, 3 hours in which to eat, study your scripts, and catch your breath. 7 to 8, Red Skelton show rehearsal, 8 to 8:30, Gildersleeve broadcast for West Coast. All right, Sally, let's stop with Bea for a minute and go to the second Friday in September. Things were changing. The warmth of summer was fading. School was back in session. There was a name that was haunting you, and this happened.
A bunch of you picked that person, the two B's. BB. Ooh, BB. That's a new name for me.
Yep, she became BB. Well, now back to BB. On her schedule were the East and West Coast episodes of The Great Gildersleeve. At the time, Bea was playing Eve Goodwin, the principal of Leroy School, and Gildy's then love interest. In the first clip I'm playing from that show, Gildy has gone to the school to complain about an incident between Leroy and his teacher. Gildy created a scene with the teacher and is now in Miss Goodwin's office. While she delivers a message to Gildy about school issues, I really believe the message is directed to the audience.
Sit down, Throckmorton.
Here.
Anywhere.
Well, nice to see you, Eve.
Just what was your purpose in coming down here this morning?
Well, I just dropped in for a little chat with Leroy's teacher. I thought,
I know. I heard you.
heaven protect me from hysterical women. I'm glad you're not that kind, Eve.
Miss Wiley is one of our most competent and most valued teachers. The children adore her, and rightly. She happens.
Oh, let's face it, Eve. She may be a lovely person and all that, but the woman is obviously a hysterical type. That's not how you're handling children. Such carrying on.
Throckmorton,
Yes?
have you the slightest idea what it is to be a teacher these days?
Well, I'm sure.
I don't think you have.
Well, I'm on the school board. I ought to know something.
I didn't see you at the last meeting,
No, I was busy.
or the one before that.
Oh, that one. I've forgotten why I couldn't make that. Anyway, well, we don't get paid hardly anything, you know, Eve. It's mostly honorary.
The teachers are paid hardly anything, too. But they're down here every day, all day long. And nobody honors them for it. Instead, people like you come down here and find fault with them and order them about like servants.
Well, you got me wrong, Eve. I just wanted to know why.
Why? Why isn't my little boy learning anything? I'll tell you why. Because we've got just about twice as many children here as we can handle. There aren't enough seats. There isn't enough equipment. It's old. The textbooks are out of date. We can't hope to teach as we'd like to, Throckmorton. All we can do is try to keep on hope. Just hope that somehow they'll learn something.
Well, if things are so bad.
They are, believe me.
Why haven't you taken it up with the school board?
I've taken it up with the school board over and over again. Perhaps you've missed those meetings. All they do is give me long explanations about why nothing whatever can be done. Materials are hard to find. We mustn't raise the tax rate. We mustn't overexpand. Maybe some people will move away and there won't be so many children.
Well, that's true about building materials.
Hogan Brothers were able to build an annex on their store. Where did they get the materials?
Well, that's the point.
Meanwhile, 3 of our teachers have resigned for next year. And I don't blame them. Why would anybody want to be a teacher? Why?
Well,
They're overworked. They're underpaid. They have to try to dress respectably on nothing a week. Because, oh dear, we must be respectable at all times. Yes, indeed. Why, Mrs. Vernon has to work in the 5 and 10 on Saturdays and all through vacation just to support her one child. And Miss Dorcas has to work at the library evenings after teaching all day. We get no help, no encouragement, no gratitude, no respect even. Sometimes it gets so I just...
Eve, you aren't going to blow up now.
Oh, it seems hopeless. The whole thing seems hopeless. I don't see how we can go on with it.
Eve, you aren't thinking of quitting.
There isn't a teacher in the whole country who hasn't thought of quitting.
Oh, you can't quit, Eve. That would be terrible. The whole school would fall apart if you quit.
No one cares what happens to the school, or the children either. No one cares but the teachers.
Now, that's not true. People don't realize, that's all. Why, if I know... Now, you stay right here, Eve. You stay right here. Don't you go resigning or anything. I'll show you whether people care or not.
In the second clip, Guilty is going to visit Eve at her home. At one time they were engaged, and Guilty hopes to rekindle their relationship. I should mention that Bea reported she greatly enjoyed playing Eve Goodwin. It was a role where she felt she was just being herself. She wasn't required to modify her voice in any way.
Doesn't that song sort of carry you back?
Yes, it does.
Eve, maybe we made a mistake, breaking up the way we did. Maybe we could pick up where we left off.
But don't you think
You're a lovely woman, Eve. Lovely. They don't come any finer. Marjorie and Leroy think so, too. They need somebody like you.
Throckmorton, please.
Why couldn't we try it again?
Throckmorton, suppose I said we
It'd
would.
be wonderful.
Well,
Sure. It'll be just like old times again, Eve. What do you say I pick you up early tomorrow night, have dinner at the hotel, go to a movie, maybe take a ride afterwards?
it sounds nice. But there's a concert at the Opera House tomorrow night. I plan to go.
Concert. Oh. Well, that's all right. Anything you say, Eve. Concert's okay with me.
It's Beethoven and Brahms.
Oh, those fellas. Well, there's nothing like a concert once in a while.
Well, I'm glad you mind. We're going to like the concert.
Oh.
There'll be so many things for us to do. We'll go to lectures. We'll take in all the art exhibits. I could just spend hours looking at paintings, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And in the evenings, we could read books together. Delve into the classics, Plato, Schopenhauer.
What's the matter?
Oh, Throckmorton, dear.
Yes?
I want you to know that I'm fond of you, terribly fond of you.
I'm fond of you, Eve.
But we're not in love with each other.
Well,
You see that, don't you?
well, I don't know. Just because you like Beethoven and I like Irving Berlin.
What isn't that? It's everything. We found out the last time it would work. We're the same people now we were then. You thought I was different now because that's what you wanted to think. You'd have known some. We all do sometimes. But this isn't the answer, is it, Clark?
You're right, Eve. You're always right, darn it.
So let's just go on being good friends.
Sure. Good night, Eve.
Good night.
Great. All right. I messed up my screen, so let me get it straightened out. Sorry about this. All right, I hope everybody can see it again now. During the 1940s, Bea developed a long-lasting relationship with Gracie Allen. After playing minor roles on the Burns and Allen show, Bea became Gracie's neighbor, friend, and confidant, Blanche Morton. But this clip is before she played the part of Blanche.
Oh, no. I'm delivering no more groceries to neighbors. I want to see how Oklahoma, Texas is. Texas in trouble, you know.
George!
Oh, all right.
Now, at this house, I'm going to try something entirely different.
Yes?
How do you do? We're your neighbors. We'd like to borrow a few pounds of coffee, please.
A few pounds of what?
Well, maybe I better explain.
You keep quiet. I knew you were a moocher the minute I set eyes on you.
But you don't understand.
I understand, all right. A few pounds of coffee. Why don't you ask for a few gallons of gasoline or a few pints of blood?
Look, miss, if you'd let me explain what this truck...
pair of moochers. I'm not surprised at you, mister, but I can't understand how you can let your daughter stoop to a thing like this.
My daughter. Listen, I wouldn't borrow coffee from you if I lived to be 100.
That gives you about 3 months to look around.
She's sweet, isn't she, George?
Sweet? She called you a moocher.
Yeah, I know, but a young moocher.
When Burns and Allen went to TV, so did Bea. She was the only character other than Burns and Allen to appear on every TV episode. Here's a photo of Bea leaving a party given after the recording of the last TV episode of Burns and Allen. Bea was never one to let the grass grow under her feet. Once again, she was performing on multiple shows at the same time. In October 1946, and for 5 years, Bea played the role of the mother of Dennis Day's girlfriend on Day's program, A Day in the Life of Dennis Day.
Well, when Mr. Anderson called out of town suddenly on business yesterday, his wife was heard to remark that now she and her daughter Mildred would be alone without a man in the house. And what puzzled our young hero Dennis Day is that she was looking right at him when she said it. But Mrs. Anderson could have been mistaken, for our hero has stepped into the breach completely, shouldering her husband's duties and responsibilities perfectly. Indeed, he's become the man of the Anderson household. If you don't believe it, just listen.
Dennis Day, will you please get through scrubbing that floor?
Yes, Poopsie.
And stop calling me Poopsie.
Very well, passion fruit.
Dennis, I'm warning you. If I...
Mrs. Anderson, I'm only trying to keep you from missing your husband.
Well, you're not succeeding.
I'll let the rest of that floor go till later. I'm trying to work out the household budget.
Yes, ma'am.
Not that I ever will, with more going out every week than there is coming in. I tell you, find you a house with prices what they are. Have you any idea what it's like to be a woman these days?
Oh, no, ma'am. And according to my birth certificate, I imagine I'll always be in the dark.
Well, it's awful. I swear I don't know how I'm going to make ends meet. Especially when I have a boarder who's exactly 3 months behind in his room rent.
Oh, you've been keeping track too, huh?
You ought to be ashamed of it. After the way I coddled you and catered to you. Didn't I spend practically all last Tuesday just shopping for a pillow for your bed?
Well, yes, ma'am. And sleeping on a pillow is fine, but it's really no substitute for a mattress.
You've got a mattress and you know it.
Oh, sure. I know it's a mattress and you know it's a mattress, but my stupid back thinks it's a marble slab.
Nobody could be nicer to you than I am. And what thanks do I get?
Gee, I'm sorry, Mrs. Anderson. If they're really bad, well, maybe you could rent my room to someone else.
Someone else? But where would you sleep?
I can sleep down in the cellar.
You actually mean that? You wouldn't object to leaving your room and sleeping in the cellar?
No, ma'am. If it means some extra money for you, I don't mind being a little more comfortable.
Yes, I'm able to make this sacrifice. I'll run right down to the newspaper office and put an ad in this afternoon's paper. You're positive now that you won't mind sleeping in the cellar?
Oh, no, ma'am. I'm already looking forward to that nice soft cement.
As I mentioned before, Bea first met Jess Oppenheimer while on the Blue Monday Jamboree program. In 1948, when Oppenheimer was putting together the Lucille Ball and Richard Denning led show My Favorite Husband, he was chosen to play Lucy's neighbor and friend, Iris Atterbury. Iris was married to Rudolph Atterbury, played by Gail Gordon, who was Richard Denning's boss. She played this role for 5 years.
Hey, Mr. Atterbury. Hello, Iris.
Liz girl, George boy.
Hi, folks. George boy, Liz girl. Radio when we came up to the door. It sounded exciting.
Radio?
Yeah. Someone was saying, to arms, to arms.
Oh, that was Pauline Revere. Liz is off on a kick about women's rights. I suppose you've been getting it too, Mr. Atterbury.
Well, let's go eat real late.
Women's rights?
Sure, Iris. You know, that amendment was covered. We're going to be free, Iris. Free!
We are?
You must have read about it. It's been in the news for weeks.
Well, let's go eat real late.
Oh, that explains it. For the last month, somebody's been cutting things out of our paper.
Mr. Atterbury.
Well, let's go eat real late.
Rudolph.
Just trying to keep you from getting any silly ideas, Lotus Bud.
Tell me more about this, Liz.
Well, it means new freedom for women, Iris. We're going to be equal to men. We'll be able to do things we've never been able to do before.
Hooray! Like what?
Oh, you stick with Liz and you can be a pin girl at the bowling alley.
You could work in a blast furnace.
All right, fellas.
I even heard on the radio that women will be allowed to drive on the same side of the street as men.
Don't pay any attention to them, Iris. From now on, women aren't going to be just women anymore. We're going to be people. Hooray! Once the House of Representatives passes this bill, there will no longer be any difference between men and women. Hey, that doesn't sound right, does it?
Let's not rush into this, Liz.
Well, I guess it means legally. The women of the world are at last throwing off their chains. Iris, this is a revolt.
You hear that, Rudolph? From now on, I'm revolting.
Don't answer that.
I didn't say anything.
Get that smirk off your face.
Well, shall we start it right here in our own home?
Start what?
Iris and I want equal rights with you men.
Yeah.
You might as well get used to it. We want the same treatment as though we were men.
All right. Okay, it's fine with me. How about you, Mr. Atterbury?
Fine, fine. Let's go to dinner, George.
Okay.
How about you fellas?
We're coming.
I made a reservation in the green room.
Oh, I love it there. George, my coat's in the hall closet.
Now, that's nice. Come on, Mr. Atterbury.
George, I said my coat was in the closet.
Well, go get it, Buster. You're a big boy now.
Oh,
I hope we won't be too late to get a tape.
what's up, laughing boy?
I just remember the story I heard at the office today. Oh, it's a pip. Come here, everybody. Come here.
Well, what is it?
Well, there's two fellas, see, worked in a lumber camp, and they've been there about 6 months.
I
when
don't like the way this sounds, Rudolph.
Is it fit for mixed company?
Mixed company, I say not. Luckily, there's just the four of us boys.
Now listen.
I'm glad there aren't any ladies present. Go ahead, Mr. Atterbury.
Yeah. Well, after they worked there about 6 months, they went into town.
Come on, let it go. Yeah, we're late. Here, George, help me out with my coat.
What?
Help me out with my coat.
Mr. Atterbury, did I ever help you on with your coat?
Never.
Sorry, Liz, can't touch it. Equal right, you know.
All right, George Cooper, go ahead, have your fun. But there's such a thing as common polite. Open the door.
Mr. Atterbury.
Yeah, thank you, George boy.
Well, after you, Iris.
George, he don't. He slammed the door in my face. Well, I'll give him what for.
Quiet, Iris. They're probably listening outside the door to see if we're mad. They'll be back.
After all the years of playing a supporting character, and while she was playing Iris, in 1950, Bea got her first opportunity to be the lead on the show Granby's Green Acres. It was designed as a summer replacement for the Lux Radio Theater. Her co-star was Gail Gordon, who was just her husband on My Favorite Husband, who was also busy playing Osgood Conklin on Our Miss Brooks, and one of the many characters on Fibber McGee and Molly. I should mention Bea also performed on Fibber McGee as various characters, primarily Mrs. Carstairs. Other regulars on Granby's cast were Louise Erickson and Parley Bear. Unfortunately for Bea, Granby's Green Acres only lasted 6 episodes. Candidly, it wasn't very good.
John, dinner's ready.
I'm not hungry, Ma.
Oh, John, you didn't eat any lunch.
I'm not hungry.
It's silly to let those chickens affect you this way. Why don't you ask Henry Stafford to help you?
Martha, as far as I'm concerned, Henry Stafford.
John. Now, John, you two should be friends.
Why?
Well, you know he's been coming around here 2 or 3 nights a week, and, well, who knows? He and Janice might get married.
I forbid it.
You can't.
Oh, no? You have to come to me for my consent, just as I had to go to your father to get his consent. My luck, I had to catch him when he was sober.
What did you say?
It was a lucky day in October.
John, that isn't what you said. You said something about my father being sober. Now apologize.
Oh.
Say you're sorry.
All right, I'm sorry your father was sober. Not sorry. It kind of slipped out.
John, I'll remember that.
Well, I didn't mean it. Forgive me. I'm so upset about those chickens, I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, I know you are, dear. Come on in and eat dinner.
Honestly, I'm not hungry.
But I cooked everything you like. Corn fritters, potato pancakes, and stuffed bell peppers.
With cheese sauce?
Uh-huh. Can't you?
When do we?
Come on into the dining room. Table. Oh, thanks, Dennis. Does it look good?
Oh, wonderful. You know, Martha, I really am hungry.
Well, there are 3 bell peppers, 1 for each. Help yourself.
All right. Who's that?
Oh, that must be Hank. We're going to see a reissue of All Quiet on the Western Front. I'll let him in.
All right, dear. Henry's a nice boy, isn't he?
Why does he always arrive precisely at dinner time? He's always so hungry. Never saw anybody eat as much as that man. I don't care if he does. Good evening, Mrs. Granby.
Hello, Henry.
Hello, Mr. Granby. Move, sir. I hope I'm not interrupting your dinner.
We haven't started yet. Won't you join us, Henry?
Martha, we only have 3 bell peppers. Well, thanks, Mrs. Granby, but I've already eaten. You have? Yes. Well, pull up a chair, Henry. Sit down. Fix up.
Okay, so that was Granby's Green Acres. Sally, November came, and so with the holidays approaching, I guess I was feeling a bit sorry for you.
Frank has assured me that I do not need to worry about the dreaded Bea in this quiz.
So there was no BB in the quiz that night. Now, Sally, we know you're a fan of Dick Powell and Richard Diamond, private detective. In this clip, Richard Diamond is investigating a murder in a massage parlor. He suspects Bea is the murderer and has arranged for her to be his masseuse.
Your scalp looks pretty good, Mr. Diamond.
Oh, it's been itching a little.
Losing any?
Some.
Hi.
Oh, hello, Pat.
His hair looks pretty good, Miss Dan. Let's see. Use both solutions. Okay. I'll see you later.
Nice girl, Pat.
Very nice. Have you found out anything about Mr. Wiley's death?
Oh, the police have gone through our news. The lieutenant wants to see your roommate.
As she told me. I hope you don't suspect her. She rather liked Mr. Wiley. She wouldn't have any reason to kill him. All right. Let's go down to the other booth.
Huh? You mean you're going to stick me on the vibrating table?
Not if you don't want to.
Well, full treatment. That's what I came here for. Let's go. You don't mind going in there, do you?
No, why should I?
Oh, some people are funny about rooms where a murder's been committed.
It doesn't bother me, Mr. Diamond. Rumble and relax for about 10 minutes, Lillian. Yes, Mr. All right, I'll be back. Lie down, please.
All right, yeah. What did you do before you went to work, Lydia?
Not much. Oh, finally decided to look for a job and found this one.
Ever study this sort of thing?
No, there's really not much to it. Pat shows us how to wash, apply the formulas, and rub the neck and shoulders.
All you need is a strong pair of arms, huh?
I guess so.
Your family live in New York?
No.
Oh. I noticed the picture of your father on Nancy's piano. A fine looking man.
He's dead now.
Mother still living?
Too hard?
It's okay. It's okay.
Did the police find out anything about Mr. Wiley?
Yeah. He was a blackmailer.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I'm a little nervous today. Maybe I could get one of the other girls.
No. That's okay. I'm just tied up. Still.
Try to relax.
I keep thinking about Wiley and his broken neck.
Think I might break yours, Mr. Diamond?
Well, it wouldn't be hard. Sounds good and relaxed. You could snap it in a minute.
Yes, I could. So Mr. Wiley was the blackmailer.
Yeah. I had a record.
They're the foulest people I knew.
They certainly are.
You think he was blackmailing someone here in the shop?
Oh, not necessarily.
Well, if he was, then no one in the shop would have a motive for killing him.
Well, after theory about that. I think someone in their shop hated him so much they waited until no one was looking and the girl was out of his booth. And they slipped in on him and twisted his neck until it broke.
Why would they hate him that much if he wasn't blackmailing them?
Somebody else who might have blackmailed. Someone very close and dear to the killer. Maybe the person Wiley was blackmailing couldn't stand it and committed suicide.
Interesting theory.
Take your family, for instance.
You weren't relaxing.
Supposing Wiley was blackmailing a member of your family, your father, for instance.
I can't rub your neck unless you relax more.
Maybe your father couldn't take it. Maybe he couldn't pay him anymore. Instead of disgracing his family, he committed suicide.
Just turn your head a little to the side, Mr. Diamond.
Better?
Much. Well, if that happened to my family, Mr. Diamond, I guess I'd kill Mr. Wiley and not mind it a bit.
Think of the shock. I even put the wife in a sanitarium.
It probably would.
How did your father die, Lillian?
He jumped off the roof. Now, if you'll turn your head a little more, I'll try to pop your vertebra.
We followed you out to Jersey yesterday.
I'm going to adjust your neck, Mr. Diamond. It's better if you relax so it won't hurt.
Well, if you wanted to, you could pop it anyway. I couldn't stop your time.
I don't guess you could. There. Now the other side.
No. Did you kill John Wiley?
Yes. Relax. All right. Let's go down to the police station.
Suspense would occasionally cast actors in roles outside their normal roles. Jack Benny appeared on Suspense several times. In Murder in G-Flat, he was joined with Bea, who was playing his wife. Jack is a piano tuner, and while riding the subway, he mistakenly picked up a brown satchel containing money instead of the satchel with his tools.
When I got home, Martha was washing some clothes out on the back porch, and Uncle Herman was rolling pennies for his pitch penny concession. I called both of them into the living room, pulled all the shades down, closed and locked all the doors, and set the bag on the table.
Hercules, what are you doing back home so soon?
What kind of nonsense is this, Neville?
Martha, Uncle Herman,
You look awful pale.
I guess I do.
Hercules, what's the matter with you?
Listen to me, both of you. I'm rich.
Oh, for heaven's sakes, Hercules, at your age.
I'm not lying to you.
Look, I gotta get
You
out
must
to...
be sick.
Look, will both of you be quiet for just a minute?
Sounds like he's drunk.
Are you sick, Hercules?
Look, I'm not sick and I'm not drunk. I've got it right here.
You've got what?
Look. Wow.
Hercules.
Now do you believe me? Now do you believe I'm not sick or drunk? Look at it. $25,000.
$25,000? That's a lot of money.
Hercules, where'd you get all this money?
I found it.
Found it?
Found it?
Yes.
Listen to
well,
me, Hercules Remington. Don't you lie to me. Where'd you get all that money?
I told you, Martha, I found it.
I haven't lived with you for 10 years for nothing. I know when you're lying to me. Now tell me, where'd you get all this money?
If I tell you the truth, I know you won't believe.
Well, tell me anyway.
Look, this morning I got on the subway, just like I always do. Some little bald-headed man with black horn-rimmed glasses sat down next to me. When he got up to get off the subway, I noticed he was carrying a brown bag, just like mine. At first, I thought it was mine. But mine was still under the seat. Anyway, when I got to the music school, I opened my bag, and all this money was in it.
Sounds fantastic.
Hercules.
But it's the truth. The little man picked up my bag by mistake. I searched this one for some identification, but there isn't any.
Then you mean the little bald-headed man has your bag with the tools in it?
I guess he does.
It seems odd that anyone would be carrying this much money around in a little brown bag.
Odd or not, the fact still remains that I didn't steal it.
Well, I guess there isn't any way that you can get a hold of this man, so we'll just have to turn the money over to the police.
The police?
Yes, I said the police.
But why?
Why? Good heavens, Hercules, you don't expect to keep this money.
Why not?
Which isn't ours.
Why? Why isn't it ours? I found it. I didn't steal it, Martha.
Hercules!
Martha, don't you see? Maybe this is fate. Maybe we were meant to have this money. Maybe
You're crazy. You're out of your head. You're talking like a madman, and I won't have it.
But Martha...
You didn't come by this money honestly. It isn't legally yours.
Now, wait a minute, Martha. Maybe Hercules is...
Now, you stay out of this, Uncle Herman. Hercules, you're going to take this money to the police.
No. No, I'm not. I'm not going to take this to the police or anyone else. Do you understand me? I'm not going to take this money to the police.
Hercules, I don't understand you at all. But mark my words, you'll pay for this.
She took her voice skills to television as the voice of Betty Rubble on the Flintstones. The other Flintstones characters were also voiced by veteran radio actors. Fred Flintstone by Alan Reed, known as Pasquale on The Life of Luigi. Wilma Flintstone was Jane Vanderpyle, best known for Margaret Anderson, My Father Knows Best, and Mel Blanc for his many voices on The Jack Benny Show as Barney Rubble. Lee's final role was on the television show Petticoat Junction, where she played Kate Bradley, for once she was the headliner. But sadly, Bea developed cancer during the final season of that popular program and died shortly thereafter at age 62. She was survived by her husband and 2 children from her first marriage. In a horrible irony, her husband died of natural causes 3 days after her funeral. But back to Bea on the radio. I saved one last clip of Bea. It's from August 9th, 1945 on Arch Obler's Plays. It's called History of a Mug. I first heard this show a few years ago. Actually, I only heard part of it. I woke up out of my sleep and it was playing on a Canadian radio station that I often listen to. It caught my attention and I was forced to stay awake to the end of the show to find out who the actress was. And while there were other recognizable voices on the program, such as Elliot Lewis and Gerald Moore, the only actor named in the closing credits was Bea Benedaret. I took that as a tribute by Obler to her performance. It's the story of a mother with 2 very different sons, Eduardo and Fabio. And as I mentioned to you, she learned the Italian dialect. I know I'm running long, so I'm only going to play a short clip of the show. But I'm happy to say that if you would like to hear the entire show, you can if you listen this Sunday evening to the big broadcast. Mary and Jill were kind enough to entertain my request to play the program this weekend. And of course, if you can't listen Sunday night, this week's big broadcast will be available online come Tuesday.
Should I think of your first big trouble? Will that make me cry for you? How old were you? 16 years ago. The day just like this. It was home, remember? It was Papa. Everybody comes to see you. What did you say, Fabiana?
Are you all right?
Sure. He's in the car, huh?
He'll get here, Ma. You know how late he is?
He should be here.
Well, gosh, Ma, what do you expect? She'd like Eddie part-time, so...
Fabiana?
He'll get here, Ma. He was look at the crowd.
Everybody likes your papa.
Yeah. They're awful brave, Ma.
Brave? What is brave? Your papa lived. He died quick without hurt from the trouble in his heart. And now he likes always he was. Make it his best, you know. Just like you want.
Ma, now look at Eddie.
Huh?
Eddie, I told you, get here.
Eduardo.
Oh, my. That's okay.
Eduardo's no right to be late at this time.
Ed, where you been? Yes. Well, listen, I gotta talk to you. It's important.
Important? What could be more important than your papa?
Don't waste time, believe me. Eddie, out of your head. Everything's all
right, Mariano. Come, Edward, let me teach you. Yeah. You too, Fabiano. So, what? We can put down.
I gotta have some dough. It's not now.
Fabiano, let him say what he wants.
Mark, give me some dough right away. Say $100. Nice, crazy. No, I'm honest. I mean it. I gotta get out of town right away.
What are you talking?
Out of town. Good boy. Louie, I'll get the dough back to you.
Teddy, what you do? Tell me, Eduardo, tell me. Tell me, tell me.
Hi. So Sally, why do I say that you and lots of people may not have known Bea Benedaret? Because her career on radio was essentially that of a character actor or the star's best friend. Why do I think you should know her? Because she was a very talented actor who could do comedy or drama and do either extremely well. I hope you will now listen for her when you're tuned into your favorite OTR. She just might show up. Wait, there's one last slide. Sally, in December, you made us all proud.
Bea Benedaret.
There you go.
What a wonderful program, Frank. I love it. And with our own homegrown star here, Sally.
You got me good, Frank. I had no idea.
And he did it all with a straight face.
Yeah, and that was great.
Great stuff.
I have full respect for BB and her complicated name.
And I remember her from the Beverly Hillbillies on TV. She was a scream. I think she always was. Does anyone have any questions for Frank or observations?
Before that, John Abbott, Jack French, and Jim Pasquale, because they were kind of in on it. I sent an email out to the four, well, Sally and the three of them, indicating I was going to ask questions about Orson Welles. So they were in on it. John needed to know what program I was doing. Jim needed to know what program I was doing. And Jack had said to me he thought it was a good idea when I approached him about doing the program tonight. So, it was a lot of fun. And also,
so what are you going to talk about Orson Welles? For this all night.
Yeah, I was primed for Orson Welles. I had no idea.
No, I didn't let you know, Wendy. But I also want to thank Murray and Jill because they're also going to clean up that the show so that you can hear the entire history of a mug Sunday night. And I thought that was really nice of them to agree to do that.
Yeah, that is just great stuff. A wonderful way to launch into a new year. Thank you. Thank you so much, Frank. That was just delightful. Now, Sally, are you focused so that you can do the answers for our quiz?
I'm always prepared, Wendy. Would you like to release the hatches? All right, everyone. Pull out your quizzes. Get your red pens. Let's see who studied. Or who didn't. Oops. Oh, the poll is still launched, actually. Let me go ahead and I'm going to stop it. Is anyone still answering in the poll on screen? You have until I count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, just kidding. All right, I'm ending the poll and sharing the results. Thumbs up when you can see the results. Excellent. Thank you very much, class. All right, time to see how we did. All right, number 1, Al Hodge, as in hodgepodge, was the first to play the Green Hornet. Jack McCarthy was the last, and in between there were 3 others who played the role, but who did not. Ooh, we were kind of split on the online poll between A, Robert Hall, and D, Brace Beamer. And someone also selected B, Donovan Faust. The correct answer is D, Brace Beamer. He did not play the Green Hornet. There you go. Started us off with a tricky one there. And here I wasn't sure if you were trying to throw me a left curveball here, Frank, with Buster Crabby, Buster Crab, Buster Crabbe. You never know. You just never know. Buster Crab, who was known for his Olympic swimming gold, which is kind of funny given his name. His movie encounters with Ming the Merciless sounds terrifying, and his Tarzan adventures also did radio, but his wife didn't call him Buster. What did she call him? Larry, Curly, Mo, or Evan? We were split between Larry and Evan. One went with Curly. Maybe she just liked that better than Buster. We don't know. Maybe. And the correct answer is, I think you really tried to trick us here, Frank. The correct answer is A, Larry. Larry, see, now I want to say Larry Krabby, but Larry Crab is his real name. And I hope no one used the Googles to answer that, because that would be cheating. And if you cheat on this quiz, then it's an automatic 0, and I'm going to take your paper. Okay. As long as we're clear. Number 3. Buster Crabbe played Flash Gordon in the movies, but who played Flash on the radio? We were all over the place. A couple of us said A, Ray Collins, or D, Bill Johnstone. The majority said B, Gail Gordon, but several still said C, Bud Collier. So who was it? Who was it? Well, the majority wins in this case. B, Gail Gordon played him on radio. Well done, you 8. All right, number 4. Buster Crabbe was one of many who played Tarzan in the movies. Several played him on the radio in the 1930s. Did they play Tarzan or Buster Crabbe? But this veteran actor got the lead in the 1950 series, then went on to a career as a television director. Who was it? Wow, you got everybody guessing all over the place here, but the majority went with D, Lamont Johnson. I almost said Lamont Cranston just out of like muscle memory. I had to catch myself there. Who was it? Well done again. 8 of you selected the correct answer, D, Lamont Johnson, not Cranston. Number 5, Betty White. We already discussed this. The correct answer, Walden told us, was actually a different program when she was 20, I think he said. Now, I will say there is a lot of information online that has about her as these roles. So I hope that those can be corrected then as well, because I also was under the impression. A voice from beyond.
Yeah, it's not from beyond, it's over here.
Hi, John.
On the big broadcast this Sunday night, they are going to play an episode of This Is Your FBI, which, according to the program notes, is the first verified appearance of Betty White. So,
Oh, well,
yeah, my verification is your verification, which is nobody's verification, depending on how you verified it and when you verified it. So it's a good opportunity to turn in and listen.
I just hope that I make it to 99 and I'm just as sassy as her. And, if I can remember anything I did from 70 years prior to that, I will be feeling pretty good about myself. Because right now, I can't even remember what I had for lunch. Did I? Nope, I have no idea. I know I had lunch. See? It's all downhill from here, guys. All right, number 6. It's hard when you're all muted. It's like teaching again online where all the children just stare at you. I'm like, my jokes are really funny. I promise I'm fun. Number 6. Police Captain Sam Sabaya. There's a lot of A's there. Usually makes the arrest at the end of each episode of which show? I wasn't even sure if some of these are real shows. If they are, I am super interested in particularly the Green Llama. Does it spit? Do you ride it? Is it something weird? I like it. Could it be the Green Llama, Rocky Jordan, The Adventures of Frank Race, or the amazing Mr. Malone? My question is, what makes him so amazing? Hence why I wasn't sure it was real. And the correct answer is nice job, majority. And I picked this one too. B, Rocky Jordan. Rocky Jordan. Is that the one that starred Frank Sinatra? I can't remember now. No? Yes? Again, like asking questions while teaching virtually. Okay, kids, fine.
Rocky Fortune.
What?
Rocky Fortune.
That other Rocky. One of those Rockies. You know, if they made a radio show about the Sly Stallone Rocky, I'd have listened to that too. You know, you put Rocky in the name. I'm down. All right, number 7. Though usually just called Daddy, his first name was Lancelot, which I actually did know and still giggle at. And his daughter was Snooks. But what is his surname? I'm going to try the joke again. And it gets just as few laughs this time. Was it Diggins, Higgins, Riggins, or Wiggins? Most people said Higgins. A few of us said Wiggins. The correct answer is B. Nice job, majority. Higgins. Lancelot Higgins. Don't know what his parents were thinking, but that's fine. No judgment. Baby Snooks, number 8, had a little brother. What was his name? Was his name's Lancelot Jr.? Think that might give him a complex? But maybe not as bad as if his name was Richelieu. Just saying. Could it be Robespierre? Or D'Artagnan? We were kind of all over the place, which kind of makes me giggle on the inside. Yes, I was right. I was like, I know this one. And I did. And so did 5 of us. Good job, us. The correct answer is C. Robespierre. Robespierre. I called him Robes or Roby for short. But... Okay. Number 9. The SC Johnson Company was famously known for its longtime sponsorship of Fibber McGee and Molly. At the end of each show, 2 locations were often mentioned for the company. I was literally trying to listen to it in my head to try and remember. One is Racine, Wisconsin. What's the other one? Vancouver, Brantford, Quebec, or Regina? Regina? How did they say it? Not sure. Hopefully Regina. Also, did not realize Quebec was like New York. Thank you, Frank. Quebec, Quebec. I kind of want to turn that into a song. Quebec, Quebec. It's a wonderful time. Okay, all right. I tried. The majority went for Brantford, Ontario. Nice job, majority. The 10 of you got that correct. B is the correct answer. Final question. Number 10. On Space Patrol, Commander Buzz Corey was in charge. Lots of buzzes in space. Have you noticed this? Before we were even in space, his name was Buzz. And Buzz went in space. His assistant was a cadet. What was the cadet's name? Was it Hava, Happy, New, or Year? Took me the whole time before I got it. I just like the name New, so I was really hoping it was that. Like, isn't that an animal? A new something? But me and 2 other people, we tried. But the correct answer goes to the 11 of you that knew. The correct answer is B, Happy. Cadet Happy. Commander Buzz and Cadet Happy running around in space. Might be a show I have to check out. So there you are, Frank. An excellent and highly entertaining quiz, which I enjoyed greatly, and hope you found some of my puns hilarious. I'll take that, middle shake the head. I'm gonna stop showing
Excellent job. As always, Sally and Frank make an unbeatable team. Any questions for Frank on the quiz? Well, this has just been delightful. This concludes the sort of the performance part of the meeting, and we will move into the business meeting. So I will stop the actual recording as we move into this, into the business section. So